it's really exciting. It's not surprising. I think it was important that, we valued ourselves in this negotiation.
Rookie of the Year, Kelton Clark and Cheryl Reeve, recently partnered for a big TV deal that can change the WNBA.
In the perfect timing, they're going to get a new TV deal, which is going to obliterate the old TV deal.
They have maintained a strong commitment to covering women's sports over the years, unlike other media in our market.
I think your commitment through the years in covering women's sports is not shared by, the broader media in our market.
Their social media game is improving our coverage, but they've still got more ground to cover.
We've improved our coverage in our market for sure, but it is not at the level that it should be at this point, given the magnitude of the events that we have had, whether it's WNBA championships, multiple times, and whether it's when we hosted the All-Star game, whatever it is. And so, we've got another step to go. I'm really hopeful that the current events in covering women's sports, how things are changing very rapidly, that our market is one that will grab a hold and share your passion for it.
The USA experience was the catalyst for her career trajectory. That was a turning point that launched her career.
Yeah, I think caused the epitome of a career trajectory, in that her first USAB experience, was one in terms of where she was at in the league, that, it was typical first experience. She had a lot to learn, a lot to figure out.
She kicked off her WNBA journey and ended up snagging the MVP in the finals.
But she started figuring that out in the WNBA, obviously, as we know, with, culminating in an MVP in the finals. And she just keeps growing. She's got a great work ethic, great passion for the game. And so I think it's notable. I think, like you said a little bit later in her career, I think that's notable for players, that they understand. We were just having this conversation that it may not be your time when you're younger. Maybe there's just people at your position. Maybe you still have a little bit to add to your game, whatever it is. And, being patient in that process.
Recognizing our value was key in this negotiation, making sure we held our ground.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's not surprising. I think it was important that, we valued ourselves in this negotiation. It's certainly helpful to have this rookie class, led by Caitlin, who, is sort of driving, the media, the interest, the business.
Cheryl's making sure she knows what the WNBA's got in store for the beginning of the season.
And so I think making sure that, I said this in the beginning of the season, what can the WNBA do? We can take advantage and not sell ourselves short. And also have a vision for the future, where this league is headed, like all pro sports leagues that we have seen, NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL. There is an evolution to a sports league, and we're in our evolution. This is our moment to take that next step.
According to Caitlin, Cheryl's a trailblazer in the sport, and just a really cool individual.
Yeah, I think obviously Cheryl, she's like one of the pioneers of our game and just an awesome individual. Like her personality just radiates, like being around her, it just makes you smile. Like she's just such a cool human. So for her to get to coach us, like super exciting for me. I was super excited when I heard that news. Like just a great opportunity to be around somebody that's given so much to this game, and to get to enjoy this, my first experience with her, honestly. It's awesome, and to be a part of this, like to see it grow, it's super special. I'm happy for the players that have been in this league for a really long time to have moments like these and opportunities like these, because they've deserved it. It's been a long time coming, but honestly, like I feel like we're just scratching the surface. Like you said, the 2 expansion teams that already announced and are, going to be coming over the course of the next 2 years, like that's only going to help the league grow. It's going to get more eyeballs, get us into new markets. The new media rights deal, that's going to help. So it's just, day by day, year by year, like it's only going to continue to get better, and it's going to give people an opportunity to see how good women's basketball is.
One of the greatest competitors that the league or women's basketball has ever seen, or sports have ever seen. One of the all-time greatest competitors. It's a player that we have loved to hate as an opponent, but that means you are really, really doing something great. She's done it all in big games, won us big games, makes big shots. Her level of compete, her understanding of the game, what should happen, her understanding of her teammates, how to put them in position to be successful.
It's truly fascinating to delve into everything that's been happening in the WNBA recently, from the standout performances on the court to the impactful social initiatives off the court.
Did you guys see this note? It's really interesting what's happened to the WNBA. In the perfect timing, they're going to get a new TV deal, which is going to obliterate the old TV deal. They're still going to lose money this year doing the charter flights. I think putting cart before horse is a little bit much, but the Caitlin Clark effect is real. It just is. And the latest sign is that they got 3.44 million people watched the WNBA All-Star Game on ABC, topping the previous record of 1.44 million. So 2 million more people watched the WNBA All-Star Game, in which the WNBA All-Stars beat Team USA. Anyway, 2 million more people watched. And I mean, I can't equate every one of those 2 million people to be because of Caitlin Clark. Her whole act, her whole bravado is so it's not just unbecoming of somebody who's a coach, but you know, your job when you're USA basketball, the coach USA basketball, like, you're a champion of the game. You're growing the game, and there just isn't, like, you know, there's a coach speak code that everyone knows, and she refuses, and it shows her what has to be an insecurity, right? She feels like Shooter McGavin. That's what she feels like. I was too busy winning.
Caitlin took the worst team in the WNBA, had a rough start in the first year, and now they're actually competitive.
Like, all right, dude, but she took the worst team in the WNBA. They're terrible to start the year, and now they're competitive. And oh yeah, by the way, she's really good, and people care. They want to watch her play. And when put in a situation where you have better players around her, she becomes a facilitator. Like, I don't understand what her deal is, other than some massive, massive insecurity. And as we've said before, she is the embodiment of what's wrong with what's hard with women in the workplace, is that the biggest challenge, biggest hurdle for women to get over in the workplace is other women.
You know what the average attendance is when Caitlin Clark plays home or the road?
What?
15,300.
Wow.
Okay? 15,300. Do you know what Caitlin Clark just got the contract from Nike?
Nike.
You know what the contract is?
I want to say it's $3 million a year for 8 to 10 years. It's almost $30 million, something like that.
Right there, look at this. Caitlin Clark gets 15,591 fans in attendance, 105% increase. Compared to the average game is 76.45. Can you pull up what Caitlin Clark just got? What is the Nike contract with Caitlin Clark? Nike contract, $28 million is what the contract is. Okay? This is WNBA is paying Caitlin Clark $28 million. Good for freaking you. You know what America loves? Let me break it down for you. We absolutely love one thing. You know what it is? Underdogs. Caitlin Clark is an underdog. We don't care if it's WNBA. We don't care if it's the UFC and they said, Dana, you'll never make it. We don't care if it's a presidential candidate. We don't care if it's a comedian. We don't care if it's a businessman. We don't care if it's a podcaster. We don't care if it's a fighter. We don't care if it's anything. We don't care about your color. We don't care if you're married, single, divorced. We don't care about anything. We love humble underdogs. We just do. We love an underdog that comes in, that's got a fight, that wants to go out there and do it. And Caitlin Clark's doing it. And she's getting all these eyeballs. And I'm so happy for her to get the 28 flipping million.
A lot of people there in the arena, like, just for a draft watch party. Like, that's pretty incredible. So awesome. I can't wait to get there and actually be playing games. I know it'll be a packed crowd.
You can always tell when it's a home game day for the Fever, because downtown Indy gets flooded with the number 22.
Caitlin Clark just dropped the news. She's officially part of the WNBA now.
A huge headline tonight in women's basketball. Record-breaking Iowa Hawkeyes star Caitlin Clark has announced she's entering the WNBA draft this year. And it's big news here in Indianapolis because the Indiana Fever hold the #1 pick in that draft.
And Clark is skipping her final season of eligibility to go pro. Just last week, Iowa played at IU in Bloomington, and this was the line to see her at Assembly Hall.
Caitlin's presence on the court draws crowds wherever she goes.
Honestly, I think it's super special, and sitting at the table, kind of obviously knowing where I'm going, you still get a little bit anxious when the commissioner walks out and says your name. It's something you dream of, like a moment I've dreamed of since I was in 2nd grade, and be there with my family at the table was amazing, and to share it with them was super special.
Indiana Fever just scored big with the 2023 WNBA Rookie of the Year already in their lineup.
And now the dreams of Indiana Fever fans coming true today. This announcement's a huge deal for the Indiana Fever, who already have 2023 WNBA Rookie of the Year Aaliyah Boston on their roster now.
And the Fever hold the #1 pick in this year's draft.
There is a fervent expectation that Indiana will choose Caitlin Clark to lead their charge.
It's widely expected that they will go with Clark. And as Fox 59's Eric Graves shows us, basketball fans are already excited about the idea of adding her to the roster.
Caitlin, Indianapolis ready to welcome the best player in college hoops to Gainbridge Fieldhouse. We were at the NFL Combine Experience today talking to fans about football, and they had plenty to say about the future of Fever basketball, too.
Even though she's not yet a WNBA player, Caitlin has done so much for women's basketball.
Breaking records for history, selling out crowds, and balling out. That's what Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark does.
She's a star already, and she's not even a professional on that level yet.
Caitlin has smashed some records and left her mark in the history books.
She's rewritten record books over her 4 years at Iowa, now owning the NCAA women's scoring record and creating new fans of women's basketball along the way.
I haven't really followed a lot of women's basketball up until this year. I've never seen a player like that. Really, she's incredible.
Wherever Caitlin hits the court, you can bet the seats will be filled.
Home or away, Clark has been selling out venues across the country this year, including Assembly Hall just a few weeks ago.
Just has this energy that everyone's just kind of attracted to and drawn to.
An intensity that fans of all ages love.
Do you like watching Caitlin Clark?
Yes!
The Indiana Fever have had the top pick in this year's WNBA draft for a while now, but it was Clark with the question mark. Would she stay in school for another year or turn pro?
Listen up. Caitlin Clark has something to announce.
Thursday night, she made the announcement.
Caitlin Clark announced she's going to declare for the WNBA draft.
Did she? I didn't hear that. Oh, that's fantastic.
Clark's decision puts her on a collision course with the Fever at #1, giving fans plenty to talk about.
It'll sort of add some energy to female sports.
I think it's going to change the landscape for the Fever.
Nothing is set in stone, but Fever legend Tamika Catchings posted on X welcoming Clark to the Fever, and Clark liked the post. Fans already comparing her to Indiana hoops greats.
That would be phenomenal, following behind Tamika Catchings and some of the other ones that have already been here.
She'll be the Reggie Miller of the Fever, is what we hope.
Over to the WNBA, where the Indiana Fever introduced the first overall pick from Monday's draft, Caitlin Clark. Her resume is as long as the three-pointers she drained while helping lift women's hoops to unprecedented popularity. Take a listen to the top overall pick. It's new on SportsCenter.
I can't think of a better place for myself to start my career, a place that loves basketball, supports women's basketball, and an organization that really does things the right way. I'm just very thankful that they have a belief in me. I was just ready for a new challenge and something new in my life. Felt like I kind of had done everything at Iowa that I possibly could, and we did a lot of amazing things, but to be able to come here and stay in the Midwest, you can't script it any better. I hated playing at Indiana, and they hated me, so hopefully a lot of them turn into Indiana Fever fans, but I mean, they hated me for good reason. It's a hard place to win at, and there's going to be learning curves for me. I'm not going to come out here and score 40 points a game. Like, that's not what I'm going to do. I think it's just, learning from the amazing people that I have around me and having a lot of fun, but also, don't lose who I am. That's what's got me to this point. Continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
This game was really a springboard to see the all-star list of constellations in the WNBA. Take us inside your thoughts.
Caitlin Clark brings excitement to people who are watching the game.
keynotes.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about all these eyes that Caitlin Clark brings, right? I know there are so many Caitlin Clark fans for good reason. She broke a WNBA record in tonight's game with 19 assists to go along with 20-plus points. What Caitlin is doing is amazing, but there are so many other talented pieces around her, and that's the best part. When you watch Caitlin shine, what else do you get to see? Aaliyah Boston have 28 points, and then even on the opposite side, you start to fall in love with opponents as well, and those players like Arike Agumbawale and Odyssey Sims, who had 24 points each, or Natasha Howard, who's a forward who had 8 assists. All the players for the Dallas Wings, even JC Sheldon, who's a rookie alongside Caitlin Clark, knocked down some big-time threes. So all these eyes on Caitlin puts all the eyes on the rest of the league that is filled with so much talent, and that's the best part. For any Indiana Fever game, you're seeing Caitlin, of course, in the talented Indiana team, but you're seeing everybody.
No question. Let's take a look and keep our eyes on what may happen moving forward. Next Indiana win, they're going to match last season's win total. Dallas is sitting there at the bottom of the WNBA standings right now with Washington, but you say fortifications are coming. Take us inside the second half for both of these teams.
I see Indiana firmly in, and even possibly winning a playoff series or two. I don't think they have enough to win a WNBA championship, but they're already, in my opinion, light years ahead of where I thought they would be, and they're not even close to their ceiling. Like, this team and this season, as they put seasons like this together, this can be a team that hangs another banner, and I know Indiana fans would absolutely love that. I see them in the playoffs solid.
You can always tell when it's a home game day for the Fever because downtown Indy gets flooded with the number 22.
Just go down the street and you're seeing 22 shirts everywhere.
The number that belongs to the one and only Caitlin Clark.
I'm really happy I got to see her today. Yeah. It was like a dream come true.
Her star power was on full display against the New York Liberty when Clark made history, not only for herself as a rookie, but for her team when she hit a triple-double, electrifying the crowd.
Here are some comments from people about Caitlin Clark. Have a look.
It's historic. It was pretty awesome. We're big Iowa fans, so we've been watching her for years, and it was great to see her live.
It was pretty surreal because we were watching TV, I think, the game before, and she got really close to it. I think she was like a couple of rebounds away, and I didn't think that I would actually be at the first one, but here we are.
It felt really exciting that my favorite basketball player made her first triple-double.
We've been following her since like last season with Iowa, but seeing her do what she did on the court today, that was actually really amazing.
Not to mention, the Caitlin Clark effect is changing the game overall.
What she has done for the sport of basketball and what she has done for women's sports, period, it's amazing.
The WNBA, that professional league, is it's growing amazing. Like, I just can't believe they're selling out, and I love it. It's awesome.
Go Fever, let's go! Triple-double, first rookie! Fans have been traveling across the country for Fever games, and for some, it's their first introduction to a feeling Hoosiers have known forever.
There's some kind of camaraderie, you know? I think everybody feels it. Like I said, it feels electric, like something big is gonna happen.
How long was your drive?
7 hours.
7 hours. Was it worth it?
Yeah.
I've been enjoying watching Fever basketball since Tamika catches, so just to have this uproar again, you know, in the city is very lovely.